Greetings from home. The vibrations from home this day are in celebration. For we are celebrating a landmark, a level of vibration which all of humanity has now reached. Yes, it is difficult for most of you because when you move from this level to this level very quickly, it means that when you get up here, you have to learn to walk again. You basically have to learn to use your new energies and to anchor yourself through your new knowledge and your new perceptions. And it is difficult, especially when you move as fast as you have been moving. It is part of the reason that you have felt this energy coming in as waves. For that is how it has been felt mostly on this planet, is in waves of energy. And just about the time you get your footing from the last wave, the next wave comes in and takes you on a new journey. And many of you have been going through these repetition after repetition to try and ground your new energy. Well, we tell you the challenge with that is that it will feel quite differently when you ground in the new energy. It does not have the same stability that you are accustomed to and that you have been searching for so much. You get to the point when you say, when I feel right, I will move. And until then, you are waiting for everything to come around you, and what we are telling you is you will not feel right until you move, until you actually start. And most of you have been working with trying to compensate for these waves of energy that have been coming in. Well, they will continue, for that is the way it works. It may even feel like you have 3 that push you forward and 1 that sets you back. If you do not be discouraged. Sometimes humans move so fast that a step backwards is actually necessary for your own physiology. Do not judge yourselves in those ways, for you are moving as fast as you can move. Your physical bodies are the part that will meet the resistance. As you move forward very quickly, your physical bodies must adapt to every single level that you are functioning at. And it must adapt and learn the best way to express your spirit at each level. This is the reason that many people feel so lost or so disconnected. What they used to use as success over and over again, they go there and it's somehow empty. It's somehow not as fulfilling as it was once before. And you wonder, what am I doing differently? My life is not as exciting, or I seem to be in self-defense mode, always trying to compensate for the wave of energy that has come in and trying to ground myself and find my surety again. But we tell you that you will get comfortable with this movement. And the actual anchoring of your spirit in the physical body will look quite differently in the days ahead. For your physical body is now going through changes. We have mentioned this before, and that there is roughly 210 years in front of you with direct elevated movement in the area of evolution. So your physical body is changing. It will be quite some time before they actually look back and see all the major changes that are going on. But this has to do with how you deal with energy and how you deal with each one of these waves of energy as they come in, how you anchor them and where they are. And what we are telling you is that you will learn to actually ride these waves. And instead of having them completely destroy all of your systems and everything that you have laid out for yourself and your confidence, you will actually say, oh, here comes another wave. Let me get ready. Let's get prepared to move. For it is actually change and movement that will be the commonplace and the stability in the future. You will get very bored if you are anchored the way that you are accustomed to being anchored today. In the future, that will not do for you. And you are at this very awkward stage in between those 2 levels right now. And every wave that comes in will help to take you to that next level. But you have to figure out how you are going to anchor yourself today. Not so much about tomorrow, not so much about the future, but what do I do today to make myself feel comfortable here? To make my body feel like it is capable of expressing this empowered spirit. How do you do that? You do that one step at a time. You set your intent, you move forward, and you create your reality one heartbeat at a time. And we say heartbeat because you are used to creating it with your thoughts. And we are asking you now to use the thinking power of your heart instead of the thinking power of your brain. And it is not as though you are going to dismiss your brain entirely, but we're asking you to form a new balance. For you have always known the path. You have hidden it from yourself with your thoughts and your belief systems. That is starting to change now very rapidly. You're finding more is capable with every day and every breath in your body. But anchoring your light will hold the key. For that is what will bring you from one level to the next. Each one of you has brought a very unique vibration from home. You can call it a tone if you'd like to place it in the auditory realm. You can call it a color if you'd like to place it in the world of light. But it is a unique vibration and a very special gift that only you can carry. Yes, there are others that carry similar gifts, but no one carries the exact piece that you have. It is the reason you are here, and the reason that you are here at this time. Find a way to anchor and give that light to any one other person, and you have begun the process of re-anchoring yourself. The challenge here is that you don't feel like giving your light. You feel like you're in trauma. You feel like you're difficulty, and when you feel good enough, you'll give your light. But we ask you, that holds the key. That is what you came to do. And any way that you can put yourself in a position to be able to give something to someone else, in any way, whether it be a vision, an idea, a concept, a pat on the back, any form can help you anchor these waves as they come in. Additionally, we wish to speak this day of a very large group of beings. We will call them spirits since they do not have physical bodies. But each one of you has what we will call a cheering crowd behind you. Basically, your own group of cheerleaders that watches over your shoulder at everything you do. Very similar to your guides in many ways. Your guides speak to you in your ears and offer you suggestions that sound very much like your own thoughts. But what takes place here is that when you go through this, each one of these levels can be different. And what happens is every move that you make up brings you closer to these beings that have been on your shoulder from day one. Let us explain and give you a vision of this so that you will see what you understand. Let us take you back to when you were a child. Let us take you back to your imaginings, perhaps the first time you saw a play or you saw a stage with people on it. It cannot help you to bring you into later years to think what it would be like for you to be on that stage. But we tell you, you've all shared that vision. You've all heard what that is like to be on that stage. Most of you have felt it in a very real way, because most of you have felt that you were being watched most of your life. When you are young, quite often you are taught that you are being watched. You are taught that God sees everything, and that God will judge you, and that God will see this. And you are so afraid to get with your feelings sometimes because God will judge you. You are God. And that makes it very difficult because you are the ones that judge yourselves. No one else does. Isn't that interesting? So in reality, much of your scriptures are correct. We just put it in a different order. We see it in a slightly different way. And we're not saying that one is right or one is wrong, but we hope to offer you a vision of empowerment. Because what we are telling you is now being discovered with your sciences. Much of the world of what you call quantum mechanics or quantum sciences, quantum physics at this point, has discovered a very interesting part that they cannot figure out. And what we tell you is much like many of the pieces that we have worked with, when you understand a truth and you can duplicate it in different areas, it works in all those areas. So we will share this with you as well. For what quantum physics has discovered is that if you have a bunch of atoms over here, they are literally floating randomly until a person looks at them. The moment the person looks at them, they turn into a clock. They turn into the carpet. They turn into the lights. They turn into all the other parts that are in here that are made up of atoms. Now that sounds very arrogant, but isn't that the actual position of God? When God looks at something, it comes together at the last minute. We tell you this has been your vision from the very first day that you have been on this planet. You are not aware of it, and because of the time lag, it is hidden from your view. You do not understand, at least on a global conscious level, that you are creating your own reality every second of every day. You are now taking that concept and using it, but on a very deep level, it's still very hard for each of you to fully feel that part. But they feel it. And that's what we wish to tell you. For you are a witness on this planet. That is what you are here to do. You are here to look at the atoms so that they can come together and create magic for you. Now, does that mean that you create other people? No, they are witnesses as well. In fact, all of consciousness is a witness. So that brings you to the point, what is consciousness and where does that come from? How do you define that and how can you increase it? Well, there's only one way to say that. You are physical human beings. But that is only the body, physical part of you. That is the earth part of you. Your spirit is from home. And any part of light that can come from home and come through your physical body is called consciousness. Now, isn't it interesting that you are self-aware? In fact, you are the first level of animal that has become self-aware. We had the keeper speak a little earlier about the nesting of Tauruses. You are nested as well in a very similar way. One level leads to the next, to the next, to the next. You are part of much larger families, much larger connections in many different ways as well. So there is much of this that you can now start looking at in a totally new light, a totally different way than you have perceived it before. You are now moving and changing at the speed of love. But what about all these people? What about all these spirits that seem to be watching you over your shoulder? Yes, you always had the imagination that the little devil would come out on one shoulder and tell you to do something, and the little angel would come out and shoot, and they'd have their arguments back and forth. But many times that is what you are feeling, is your witnesses. For you are also being witnessed by all the beings that stepped aside so that you could take this place on planet Earth. You have a very unique key that has let you in a very special door at exactly the right moment. And you're trying to figure out, why am I here? What am I doing? What is the meaning of life? And we're telling you, you're right on purpose. Stop doubting yourselves. Start allowing your greatness to show. Start owning your own mastery. When you master something and someone comes to you and says, I hear you're a master, can you teach me that? And you say, oh, no, I'm not a master. Why not say, well, yes, I'd be happy to share that. I'm very good at that. Own it. You've worked very hard in those areas. And now more than ever before, as you move from one level to the next, everyone, every bit of information is greatly accepted and needed on this planet. So it's a time for you to start touching your own spirit and allowing that connection from home, that light, to come through you, to be conscious. But of course, you're not the only conscious one on the planet. Not just on the planet, but consciousness from home includes all the spirits which are connected. At home, there is no difficulty with it. You think of one person and they are right in front of you. You simply are all connected to each other in an incredible way that allows you to pull this in very quickly. When you come here to planet Earth, you cannot figure out why you cannot just send a thought and something happens. It takes you several years to learn how to function in these bodies, and with the limitations that you did not know you had. Now, we are telling you, you have the capabilities of recouping those abilities in the physical body. You have the ability to start losing the concept of your body only being 3 feet, or your energy field to only be 3 feet in diameter. You are huge beings, enormous parts of the universe that stretch energetically and mingle with every other energy field in ways that you are only beginning to learn. And when you do it consciously, you plant seeds. You make an effect. You spread your light in ways that only you can do it. And these are the greatest contracts that you have had, that many of you have waited so long to fulfill. The magic is here, and it is time. We wish to bring this one last piece for today. For there is also a sadness on planet Earth that has been going on for some time. This deep inner sadness may hit you at some point, and we wish to tell you about it so that you understand what is taking place. Any time that you move from one level to the next, you are liable to experience a sadness. Much of the sadness that many humans carry very deep, very far back in their consciousness, not usually aware of, have to do with having to leave home. It is what we call separation anxiety, that you actually had to leave your home where you were connected to everything, where everything was done with a simple thought, and you had to come down here and pretend to be a human. Well, that left scar tissue on many of you. But you are also now finding that that is not needed in the same way. Much of your own evolution is now taking you to a level of communication that can happen very quickly. In a very short time, only a matter of about 85 to 95 years, you will look back on what you are using today as communication and you will laugh at it. You will wonder why you had that much time to receive and give all that information with these little tiny words. You will wonder what on earth you were thinking to have to be able to write all these things and be able to write all this stuff and put it into books. For your communication levels are going to change very, very quickly. And with that will emerge all of the hiding teachers. Every one of you will come out, ready or not, because what will happen is you will still be the same person. You'll still walk down the street saying, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a teacher. And somebody will come up to you and ask you a question. The students will show up even if you don't own it, because the vibration is correct now. And your information is needed more than ever before. Have you ever had that moment where someone walked up to you and asked you a very important question and you had the perfect answer? It just came out of you and it was the perfect thing at the right time in the right place. That is channeling. And that is a part of you. That is a part that you are learning to master and use in your daily life. Yes, it has had a very bad rap for many years. It has been in the woo-woo area of your reality and been very difficult for you to understand. And yet, if we take it out of that area and simply call it intuition, or simply call it imagination, or simply call it creativity, doesn't all creativity come from the same place? Isn't it all channeled to you at the last minute when you are in the perfect place to receive it? Yes, it is. And it's starting to happen now, because what is taking place, it is becoming popular to listen to this. Before, you could only listen to this. It was all that made sense. And now this is starting to make sense. The heart energy and your connections to your own heart and will lead your way and light your path in a way that has never been seen before. And you will receive help from all the witnesses that are witnessing you, for they are the same connection to God. They are the same connection home, and there are literally thousands of these spirits behind each and every one of you. They are your greatest cheerleaders. They are the ones that stepped aside and said, let them go because they can make more of a difference on planet Earth than I can. And they are so incredibly proud of you. You are making this work. You are taking the end of planet Earth and scripting a new game. Every day contains new possibilities and new lights. And all we ask you to do is know that however alone you feel sometimes, that you are a nested part of a very large family. And that family is feeding you with light and love from the other side of the veil as much and as often as you will receive it. For that is the only limitation. They are flooding you with light and love every moment of every day. They are witnessing your experience. You could actually say that they are making you real. Well, that is hard to understand many times, but if you understand that you have thousands of spirits doing nothing but watching your every step and wanting to help and wanting to make you feel okay and confident, perhaps you can feel that. Perhaps you can get just enough confidence from that piece to take this next step, to set it into motion. Step up to the next level and speak your truth. You are nested inside of other hearts. Every heart is connected. Use and find that connection any way you can, and your lives change very fast. We are watching with amazement. From this side of the veil, we have our arguments. We have our discussions. We have our, watch this person here. We'll see if they make it as far as they think they're going to make it. We have all these fun connections. But very few people, even at home, ever thought that humanity would make it this far. And here you are, creating a new world, creating a new light, and sharing it with each other. It's with the greatest of honor that we speak to you in this fashion. We have been speaking for a very long time. It is only lately you have been listening. And we tell you that you are the greatest angels that have ever lived. You need to understand who you are and take that power. Own your mastery, for it is of great service now, more than ever before. Treat each other with respect. Nurture one another every chance you get. You're playing a new game. Play well together. Spavo. Thank you, Janae. I even cleared it off before she came up. So before we started the next segment, I said, come on, I'll clear it off.